Kei ngā ihoiho o ngā maunga whakahi, kei ngā wai whakatere taniwha nau mai ki te hui. Ko Mihingarangi tēnei e mihi atu nei kia koutou katoa. Welcome to the Hui, Māori current affairs for all Aotearoa. E taro ake nei. An ancient practice revived after being all but wiped out by the Tohunga Suppression Act.
There's many practitioners now out there that are here for the love of the community to ensure that the whānau has been able to choose either medication or rongoā.
We speak to Rongoā Māori practitioners concerned by a new bill being introduced to Parliament.
Imagine if we're being controlled more. What's going to happen then? Are they going to say what's going to be in that rongoā next?
Then he's one of Aotearoa's greatest athletes, carving up the world stage.
The desire that I had as a 12-year-old, it hasn't changed. I still desire to be the best that I can possibly be.
World champion axeman Jason Wynyard speaks about his health battles as he prepares for another record-breaking title.
I couldn't even do everyday things like carry a bag of groceries up the stairs.
Tahuti mai. A new bill set to go before Parliament is causing concern amongst practitioners of traditional Maori medicine. The Therapeutic Products Bill will regulate how pharmaceutical and natural products are manufactured, tested, imported, promoted, supplied and exported. Its aim is to ensure these products are safe and deliver what they promise. But Rongoā Māori specialists say the bill overreaches into their traditional practice and are worried it could inhibit their ability to serve whānau. Anei te pūrongo a D'Angelo Martin.
Rongoā Māori, a practice that lay dormant for a century.
All rongoā practitioners can tell you it's been very hard. 1907 was the Tohunga Suppression Act. Around about 2008, it was reintroduced.
Restored and now thriving, providing whānau Māori with a natural alternative to Western medicine and treatment.
It's a unique practice to us as Māori, within our whānau and our hapu. Each whānau has specific rongoā that is just specific for them.
Awhitia Mihaere has been practicing Rongoā Māori for more than 20 years, and it's here at Pukematake Lookout in the Waitakere Ranges where she comes to harvest her native ingredients.
And the rongoā we're going to harvest today is this one, which is the tātara moa. So that's all we need.
Kawakawa, tūpakihi and tātara moa are just some of the therapeutic rongoā used by Māori healers.
This is the koromiko. It's good for dysentery and it's also good to help move your bowels if you're blocked.
Practitioners say there's nothing quite like it, and the revival of Rongoā Māori is providing relief to the whānau they serve. But they believe their mahi could be under threat.
And the Therapeutics Act will stop the future, because that's what it's doing. It's stopping practices of great practitioners.
The Therapeutic Products Bill aims to provide greater oversight of pharmaceuticals and naturally made health products, regulating and scrutinising their therapeutic claims, and that includes Rongoā Māori.
It's all about regulations from the time you start to the time you put it into the packet. And it all costs time, money, and it takes away the spirituality of your mahi and also the connection of your Māori to the Māori of the rongoā. Kia ora!
Awhitia says the demand for Māori healers within the hapori has increased over recent years.
Hige, this is tātara moa, and it helps for relaxing the body before we put you up on there. There's many practitioners now out there that are here for the love of the community to ensure that the whānau has been able to choose either medication or rongoā.
But practitioners are concerned about the impact the proposed bill could have on Rongoā Māori if it's passed into legislation.
It's like bringing back the Tohunga Suppression Act on us once again. We're not therapeutics. We are just the word on its own does not align with our practice. We're Rongoā practitioners.
How does the therapeutic bill potentially affect your mahi as a Rongoā practitioner?
Straight away, it tells me that they'll actually try and stop me from doing what I'm doing naturally in my home for my whānau. So if I wanted to send some of my tonics that I send out to my whānau during the COVID, I must say, that the Therapeutic Act will try and stamp on me and say, actually, you can't send that kumarahau for lung support to your whānau.
Awhitia is not alone in her concerns. It was discussed at a rongoā wānanga held in Te Papa i Oia last month, where hundreds of Māori healers came together, including the chair of the Aotearoa Rongoā Māori collective, Charlotte Milden.
It's controlling what we can do. We're already being controlled. Imagine if we're being controlled more. What's going to happen then? Are they going to say what's going to be in that rongoā next? What are they going to say there? That outlawed? Romi? Only massage therapy?
While the bill states that Rongoā Māori is set to be recognised and protected, Charlotte and other Māori healers say they don't want history to repeat.
If the bill goes through, these things, mark my word, they'll be outlawed because they don't understand them. They don't understand us. It'll be the watering down of our healing ways. May as well just go and do Western health.
Charlotte says some Rongoā practitioners are frustrated by the lack of consultation.
At the moment, they're only asking one person with one organisation sitting at the table with them doing the decision-making. None of the other healers from other rohe, and we have a right to say what it is that we want for our healing and how it goes for each whānau, each hapu.
The first hui we had, Charlotte said to me, I'm not here to heal you. I'm here to teach you how to heal yourself.
Charlotte believes Rongoā Māori should be regulated by those who practice it.
We've governed it all these years. Our old people were the ones who passed on that knowledge. They kept it safe so that it wasn't bastardised by non-Māori.
The Aotearoa Rongoā Māori collective has sent a petition to Parliament opposing the inclusion of Rongoā Māori in the bill.
That's not okay, what you're trying to do. Under the Tiriti o Waitangi, and Tēnā Rangatiratanga, under our taonga, nā taonga, that belongs to us. And we have absolute sovereignty over our healing ways.
I send off my own, specifically for my whānau and specifically for those who know me very well and who say, oh no, I want, awhitia's rongoā. And I believe why that is because of all of the ingredients that go in it, which is aroha, which is our tikanga practices, which is our takutaku and our karakia. Those are also part of our ingredients. You don't have that in medication.
The bill is set to be introduced into Parliament before the end of the year. Whatever the outcome, the practitioners of this ancient mātauranga say they'll continue to serve whānau Māori.
I don't believe that practitioners will stop. They'll fight back. And I'll be one of those two. Ka whawhai tonu mātou, mo te oranga o te tangata.
The hui has received this statement from the Ministry of Health regarding Therapeutic Products Bill. We recognise the importance of rongoā and we have been carefully considering how to recognise and protect Rongoā Māori as part of our work on the bill. This has included consulting with Te Kāhui Rongoā, a governance body for Rongoā practitioners, Māori clinicians and health providers, and working with our colleagues in Te Aka Whai Ora, the Māori Health Authority. Our vision for the bill is that it protects, promotes and improves individual and community health and enables the delivery of high quality services that meet the needs of Māori and all New Zealanders. We understand that many people and organisations will want to make a contribution to this important issue. When the bill is introduced to Parliament, there will be further opportunity for people to have their say at Select Committee. Next, I speak to the Minister of Health, Andrew Little, about the Therapeutic Products Bill. Tauhuti mai anō. Here now to discuss the aims of the Therapeutic Products Bill and what it means for Rongoā Māori. I'm joined from Te Whanganui-a-Tara by the Minister of Health, Andrew Little, who'll also give us an update on what's happening in his treaty settlement portfolio. Tēnā koe e te minita.
Tēnā koe.
Kia ora. Hey, what do you hope to achieve from this bill?
First of all, a much more modern approach to the way we regulate medicines. We've got to keep them safe, but what we learned from COVID as well is that when something happens very quickly and new medicines become available quickly, that we've got to be able to respond with that kind of level of urgency. And then just making it sort of more accessible for people and more sensible management of access to medicines, you know, the long-standing ones that have been around. So a number of things that we need to achieve.
It includes Rongoā Māori. Who determines what is Rongoā Māori and how it should be used?
Yeah, so this is something I'm looking very much to Te Aka Whaiora, the Māori Health Authority, to be involved in. I think the message that I get is, both from Rongoā practitioners and from Te Aka Whaiora, is people want Rongoā to be protected in the sense that people who say they are Rongoā practitioners actually know what they're doing, but not to be regulated in a kind of Pākehā way that we see with other practices. And in the end, we want to achieve the objective of making sure that people are safe with those who say they have skills that are about caring for them and making them well. But I'm looking to Te Aka Whaiora to help with the way Rongoā practitioners do their work and make sure that people are safe.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think everyone would agree with you that, you know, Māori practitioners want to be able to continue sharing their taonga, centuries-old taonga with their whānau and not being inhibited by, you know, regulators who might tell them that they can't do that or can't sell it that way. I guess the issue is the framework around that. How do you ensure that we don't have, you know, something like the Tohunga Suppression Act, you know, second version of it?
Yeah, and we definitely don't want that. We want Rongoā practitioners to be able to get on and do their thing. And in a sense, you know, there's a lot of stuff that you know wouldn't be easily definable for the purposes of a piece of statute. But I think that's why we would give the responsibility to Te Aka Whaiora to provide some sort of oversight role when it comes to those practising Rongoā and those receiving the benefits of Rongoā medicine. Just to make sure that you know the people are being kept safe, and the main thing is that you know people who claim to be Rongoā practitioners but clearly don't have applied the knowledge, don't have a background in it, don't claim to be able to do that. It's about making sure that the practice of it is respected and protected.
Yeah, I guess, okay, can you assure Māori practitioners that when this bill comes into law, that they will still be able to share this taonga with whānau?
Absolutely, and it's interesting to see as I get around even hospitals now, the number of hospitals having a Rongoā kind of practice available to those, you know, those patients who want it. So it will continue to be, and I think we will take a bit of time and work with Rongoā practitioners too about what an oversight regime looks like.
Pai tō whakahua i te kupu Rongoā, Minister. A very nice pronunciation of that that difficult word sometimes. Let's move to treaty settlements. Ngāti Maniapoto had its third signing last week. It's one of the largest settlements, but like many other, like Te Whakatōhea, there is opposition from some hapu. Are you comfortable progressing settlements like this, you know, when not all hapu are on board?
Yeah, I think it's about you know taking time to understand what those who are opposing the redress agreements, what their issues are, and working with them as much as possible. But you do get to a point where you say, well, actually, at some point, all those who are wanting redress and wanting agreement and wanting to get on, we've got to be able to get on. So, and I think that the Waitangi Tribunal has made it pretty clear about the Crown's responsibility. It's not about kind of just railroading over folks. It's about listening and hearing and taking time and providing for hapu in particular who don't want to be part of a settlement but who might want to have been originally to get out of it. Te upokorihi did that in Whakatohea, but they didn't get the votes to come out of it. So Whakatohea has now got the choice of going ahead with their ratification of the deed that's been initial. So I think, the approach I think I have taken, which I stand by, is giving a little more time to deal with the voices who are saying they're concerned about things and letting that play out, but in the end getting to a point where progress has to be made.
Yeah, you step back from the Ngāpuhi settlement, you're entertaining the idea of a framework that potentially, might see a six-way settlement. Can you update us on where we're at there?
Yeah, so there's two groupings that are pretty advanced in terms of developing a mandate. They've certainly been dealing with Te Arawhiti and good progress is being made there. We're providing some funding to allow the mandate to be explored with the groups that they wish to represent. There's another group of groups, if you like, who are at various different stages of engaging between hapu and across hapu, and I think we'll see more groups come together. So my expectation is that certainly by the beginning of next year we'll have at least a couple of mandates, I think, formally recognised. There'll be some well under development. There are some that have got a ways to go, a long way to go. And I've just asked Te Arawhiti officials to keep working with people, provide information, provide support, and keep things moving.
Ka pai. Just picking up on what you said earlier about the Therapeutics bill, you talked about oversight from the Māori Health Authority, and I wondered this next kaupapa, which some whānau are devastated after Pharmac has, will not be progressing Trikafta, the drug that helps extend the life expectancy of those with cystic fibrosis. Is there an opportunity for the Māori Health Authority to have its own mini Pharmac, do you think?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure whether things would go that far. I mean, we've given Pharmac the responsibility of being the procurement agency. They look at a range of things. Te Aka Whai Ora is now and should be now well engaged with Pharmac in its decision making. When it comes to things like Trikafta, I know that right now there is good engagement going on between the vendor of that treatment, Vertex, and Pharmac, and we'll kind of see where that goes. I think what came out of the review of Pharmac that came out early this year is an expectation that Pharmac does look a little more seriously at rare disorders, and we saw that in the decision last week announced about Spinraza, the funding for Spinraza as a treatment for spinal muscular atrophy. So I think Pharmac has got that message that they need to do more, and they should be working with communities on that.
Yeah, I guess for another example is Pākehā New Zealanders are 5 times more likely to get melanoma, and the drug needed is Keytruda. It's fully funded for melanoma, yet it's not funded for lung cancer, which affects Māori women 4 times that of Pākehā women. That's not really equitable when you look at it like that. So people might ask, what's the point of the Māori Health Authority, having the Māori Health Authority, if it can't respond to ethnic data like that?
Yeah, I think, the Te Aka Whai Ora Māori Health Authority is 3 months old. They are getting up to speed with a lot of things at the moment, including their engagement with Pharmac. One of the other things that came out of the review of Pharmac was they have to do way better in terms of the equity performance than they have up to now, and they've kind of had they've talked about doing better on equity, but the performance shows they haven't.
And if they don't,
I think when it comes to
so for example, if they don't in the next 2 years, would you look at bringing Pharmac under, Pharmac for Māori decision making under Te Aka Whai Ora?
Well, certainly. Even before then, I expect to see Te Aka Whai Ora playing a major role, in terms of being consulted over the decisions and being involved in the decision making by Pharmac. When it comes to Keytruda for lung cancer, I know that Pharmac right now is looking at expanding a range of cancer treatments, especially when it comes to lung cancer. And I expect Te Aka Whai Ora to be actively involved in those discussions.
Tēnā koe e te minita. Kia ora. Ko te minita tērā mō ngā taki hauora ko Andrew Little. Hei muri i ngā whakatairanga, ka tūtaki atu ki tētehi o ngā tuki o te ao hākinakina Māori. Auraki mai anō. Champion woodchopper Jason Wynyard's career began as a kid growing up in Murupara and hanging out with his dad in the Kaingaroa forest. Since then, he's won more than 250 individual titles in the sport. The COVID pandemic and debilitating illness saw Wynyard step away from the spotlight, but 2022 saw him return to the ring, more determined than ever to claim his 10th world title in just a few weeks. Rawani Pereira caught up with one of Aotearoa's biggest sporting stars on what could be his final swing of the axe.
He's an elite axeman at the top of his game and gunning for a record 10th World Championship title.
The desire that I had as a 12-year-old, it hasn't changed. I still desire to be the best that I can possibly be.
But while Jason Wynyard's mental strength is as sharp as ever, the battle now is with his body.
At times, it kind of seemed like I may never, ever get the opportunity again.
Jason Wynyard! The power that comes from Jason Wynyard is insane.
For more than 30 years, the name Jason Wynyard has dominated timber sports.
I think I've been involved with the sport so long that the young guys that are in their 20s now, I used to compete with their fathers, so it's pretty funny, but they show me a lot of respect, and that's pretty cool.
Jason Wynyard is a legend amongst timber sports athletes.
The 48-year-old axeman has travelled the world with the sport and cultivated a global following because of what he can do at speed with a block of wood.
But I tell you what, Wynyard has got so much power behind his swings.
Here he is in action, carving up the competition at the World Champs in 2016.
It's official! Jason Wynyard is the Steel Timber Sports World Champion!
But just 2 years later, his future in the sport looked like it was all but over.
I couldn't even do everyday things like carry a bag of groceries upstairs. I couldn't even walk upstairs, so it was pretty bad. And I'm terrible because I downplay things, but it was really bad.
3 decades at the top of competitive woodchopping has wrecked Jason's body. The intensity of the sport has resulted in Jason battling back and shoulder injuries and crippling osteoarthritis in his right hip.
As soon as you open your eyes, you've just got this horrible pain that's deep down inside your hip, and it just doesn't go away.
But even though he hit rock bottom, Jason refused to give up on the sport he loves. In 2020, he took a chance on stem cell treatment and potentially risky surgery.
I remember going under with the surgeon, and he says to me, look, you realise that if we get in there and the bone's not dense enough, we're going to have to do a full hip replacement, which would have meant the end of my wood chopping. I woke up out of the anaesthetic, and the best thing I heard from the surgeon was, we were able to do your resurfacing, and that was just like, oh man, I'm so happy. And then I knew I could possibly make a comeback after that.
And he's gone from barely being able to walk to now smashing his personal bests.
I have a 3-day-a-week heavy gym session combined with my weekend work on the wood chopping. And I've got to really be careful because I tend to overtrain and then run myself into illness. And I'm feeling really good right now, so I'm going to have to really stick to the program.
Jason's father, Pai Wynyard, was also considered one of the sport's greatest in his time.
I took up wood chopping because of Dad, watching Dad compete when I was young, and just wanted to be like Dad, you know. Wanted to be as good as Dad, and it was really hard losing him because he was always the one I could go to and say, oh, look, Dad, I'm having trouble with this. What do you think? He was so strong in everything he did, and he made you believe that you could do anything because there was nothing he couldn't do. I kind of wish he had been able to see the New Year's honour that I received, because I was really, really proud to win that, and he would have been really proud too.
Jason Wynyard getting into his work now.
Like his dad, Jason has incredible determination, clawing his way back into contention at the Timber Sports National Championships in March.
And that, as they say, is how it's done. Jason Wynyard, everyone. Our national champion for 2022, it is Jason Wynyard.
Jason's back on the winner's podium, looking like he'd never been away.
The journey's been a tough one, and today was really tough.
And things were about to get tougher. Just before his next competition in Sydney, Jason, an asthmatic, was dealt another blow, COVID-19, which led to a lacklustre performance and a major setback to his training.
Catching a disease that affects your cardiovascular system right before that contest was definitely not ideal. I went back to zero with my fitness almost, so that was really frustrating for me. But I'm pretty determined. I just kept working and put some good people around me, so I think that's helped my cause a lot.
One of those people is close friend and former national selector, Terry Honock.
Training going all right?
Who's known Jason since he was a teenager.
How remarkable is it that he's made this comeback after 3 years in the wilderness?
He's done amazingly well to come back. It's a credit to himself, first and foremost, the amount of dedication that he puts into his sport. He's a beautiful role model for all young Maori and for other New Zealanders.
Aotearoa's top axeman has unfinished business. He says the upcoming World Championship in Sweden is probably his last crack at a record-breaking title.
What do you think his chances are for a 10th world title?
He's won more than anyone else, so you'd never write that off. And he knows what it's like to go overseas amongst the best in the world and win that. So I think his chances are right up there.
All I can do is put the best of myself out there and give myself the best chance. Hey, I have an opportunity, I have the drive, I know what to do. All the pieces are in place and I will give it my best.
Kia kaha karawhiua. Nā Rawani Pereira tērā pūrongo, kua hikina te hui e wama, nō oro mai. Nā te puna whakatongarewa te hui I tautoko.